What is the biggest lie out there that men over 40 are believing when it comes to optimizing their health at this stage of their life?
Yeah, the biggest lie is definitely that they cannot get into the best shape of their lives in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. Like life is over. And that's something that a lot of men buy into. And when you buy into those lies or those myths or the 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 not having the hope that you can get in the best shape and that you have to change everything and you can't work out hard and you can't do this, then you buy into it. That becomes your identity. And I think one of the things that also accelerates that is there's not a lot of information out there for men over 40. There's not a lot of like in the health and fitness industry, men in their 40s, 50s, 60s, that demographic is 100% the most underserved demographic in the market. We get a lot of TRT and hormone therapy stuff, and that's just only in the last few years. But even since I've started working with men over 40, like almost a decade ago, there still to this day isn't as much information out there where it's dedicated and catered to the physiological changes that are happening to us, right? There's a lot of physiological along with psychological, along with lifestyle challenge or changes that are happening that most men don't know. And that's why they feel the way they feel when they reach 40. The belly fat creeps in, no energy. They've kind of lost their mojo. And so couple that with, the lie of, hey, you can't get in the best shape and we're stuck. We're stuck.
Yeah. What are some of the changes? It's been interesting for me. I'm in this demographic now, and it's I still wrestle sometimes with accepting that. I definitely don't feel like a 42-year-old man. If I would have thought back, 20, 30 years ago and thought about somebody that would have been my dad's age, I'm like, oh, that's an older guy. But I've been very fortunate and I got into health and fitness very young. I made it a part of my career profession. It's been at the forefront of my life and identity for 2+ decades now. So I think at 42, I have a better understanding and grip on a lot of these things than maybe the average 40+ year old guy does. But even me, I've had to change a lot of things about my training, shorter workouts, less intense, not focus so much on maximizing PRs at this point, training more for a longevity perspective. But for the guy that maybe doesn't have a decade plus experience in the training, what are some of the changes that his body is going through that he needs to be aware of? And how can he kind of adapt his training and nutrition to those changes?
Yeah. So number one, the biggest one is testosterone. Our testosterone levels naturally decrease 1 to 2% every single year after the age of 30. So by time we reach 40, most men now, the testosterone levels are the lowest they've ever been in modern day history, specifically across the board, even in younger men. So already we're behind the eight ball, and testosterone is so important to men. It's like our number one male hormone. So muscle mass, strength, power, our energy levels, insulin sensitivity, brain health, bone health, hair, libido, like it's everything to us. If we want fat loss, increase in testosterone. If we want to fight off chronic health issues that we have, it's testosterone. Like that's our number one hormone. And right now it's the lowest it's ever been. And a lot of men are estrogenic. Estrogen is a female hormone. Testosterone is a male hormone. We do need a little bit of estrogen, but too much estrogen decreases our testosterone, gives us the man boobs, the belly fat, and all other types of, visceral fat starts to accumulate. That's the killer fat around the organs. And so that is happening. We don't know it's happening. And by the time we reach 40 or 50, and beyond, our testosterone levels are super low, and doctors aren't going to come forward and test that. You have to ask for that test, and most doctors will push back. So that's number one. That's the biggest one. The second one is sarcopenia, which is a natural loss of muscle due to aging. This also starts to happen in our mid 30s, and this is more of a decade type decline, but it increases when we're 55. And why is this important? Well, muscle is the longevity. It's a longevity organ, right? It is the key to longevity. We need muscle. Muscle is going to help us with our metabolic health. Muscle is going to help us burn fat, right? And keep that body fat percentage down. Muscle is going to keep us strong, going to keep our bones strong. So we need to be building muscle, but we also understand we're battling sarcopenia. The next thing is our metabolism. Now, this isn't a physiological change due to just what the body does, but our metabolism slows down due to lifestyle, right? The foods that we're eating, the workouts we're not doing, the lifestyle that we're leading, we are our metabolism starts to slow down, and again, that makes it hard to burn fat. It makes it hard to have that energy. We've got these three big things that are happening, and so what happens when we reach 40? We don't have the energy anymore, right? We don't feel the like we don't. I hear this all the time with my guys. Like I lost my mojo. I don't feel the same. Right? Why am I so soft? Even if you're skinny and you have a belly, or you're obese and you have a belly, you're just not feeling the way you want, the way you did before. And then we couple in insulin sensitivity and diabetes and all the chronic health issues, because we're also leading the league. I'll say this, in heart disease, in diabetes, in colon cancer happening younger, low testosterone. So all of these chronic health issues continue to creep up. The physiological changes happen and no one really addresses it. So guys generally don't know what's going on. They're just like, oh yeah, that's right, I'm 40. This is supposed to happen. It's not supposed to happen. Like, you should be doing things in your 30s to keep you going. Like for you, you may not have felt those things. You're 42. You may not have felt those things at 40. You may have felt some changes. We don't recover the same way we used to. That's another thing. So yes, we can still get in the best shape, the best health of our lives. But the thing is, the margin for error is shorter, right? We can't eat the same way we used to. We can't work out the same way we used to. We have to add other elements to our training, like mobility and recovery, in order for us to still get into the best shape of our lives in our 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. So that's kind of the high level of what's going on. There's a lot of intricacies and things, but basically, if you know that that's what's happening, then you can tailor your overall lifestyle to increase testosterone naturally, because that's one of the things that we do. Improve your metabolism, balance out all your insulin levels, and build muscle, and all doing in the comfort of your own home.
Yeah, we're definitely getting into some of the tactics and weeds here on giving these guys, things that they can begin to implement. But we keep referencing this best shape of your life. And I think, perhaps maybe some guys out there, they're going to hear that. They're going to immediately attach it to an aesthetic look, right? Something that maybe at this point in their life, they don't feel is as of most importance. 40, 50, 60, you guys are building careers, you got family, legacy now. It's there's a lot of weight and responsibility. Speak to what you mean when you say the best shape of your life, and why that would even be important to a guy at this stage in his life.
I 100% believe that that is the first step. When you look at yourself in the mirror and you don't like yourself, no matter who you are, no matter how high level you are, no matter how high performance you are, you have to look at yourself in the mirror every day. And a lot of times you're just putting on the mask. If you are really good at one thing, like sometimes we're really good at one thing, or we're really good at closing deals, or we're really good at building businesses. So that's our comfort zone, right? Because we've done it for so long. That's my comfort zone. I can do this with my eyes closed. So let me stay in my comfort zone and let me stay with what I'm good at. But I'm not going to look at myself in the mirror. I'm gonna fluff off and shuck off those jokes. I'm gonna put on the mask like I am alpha, but when I look at myself in the mirror, I'm not alpha, right? Because the outside world sees what you look at, right? And you're looking at yourself in the mirror, and you may be looking in the mirror and seeing this alpha guy who's successful in business, but deep down inside, you're not. There's something missing, right? There's something missing deep down inside, and when you look at yourself, you're not happy with what you look like because you haven't given yourself the self love. I feel that is the first step, is getting yourself back into shape and health. Because when you're working at such a high level for such a long time, that's also going to catch up to you. The stress, right? So you have low T, your health is low, not doing well. Heart attacks and strokes and all of these things start to creep up. And when you're not taking care of yourself, you're not taking care of your health, all of the comfort that you've been doing with your businesses or what have you, that doesn't matter anymore, right? And that also spills into your family and your relationships. Because here's the other thing that I see: you've been working on your business, you're doing incredible things in your life. The kids grow up, they leave the house, and now it's you and your wife. Now your wife, who has been going to see Tyrone, Tyrone's the personal trainer that she goes to see, right? You're busy with your business, you're busy in your comfort zone, and you're really, the relationship may not be where it is. Tyrone's giving her the love that she needs, saying, "Hey, you look great, you look awesome, you look amazing. You're still out of shape. Yes, you're providing, but now you're just in the house with your wife. That's it, right? The kids are gone." And now your wife looks at you, and that's not the guy I married, right? That's not the guy I married. And a lot of times we see women leaving. I'm just going to extremes right now, but I'm actually not going to extremes because this happens quite a bit, right? The relationship gets strained because you're not taking care of your health. You're not taking care of your body. And so when I say taking care of your health and I say in the best shape of your life, we have to have belief that we can get in the best shape, right? It may not happen, but if you have belief that you can get in the best shape and you can still, do the things that you used to do, and I believe you can do the things you used to do and better, then you're not going to try. Because there's well, why am I going to waste my time here? Because if I can't get in the best shape, if I can get into okay shape, I'd rather just stay in my comfort zone because that means I got to work hard and do other things that I'm not used to.
Oh, that you're going to the extremes. I mean, what you're speaking to here is a lot of the identity statements, and this is the lifeblood of the rebuilt man, and everything that the Superman life is built on. This is the foundation. Is you show up in the world as the identity of the man that you see yourself to be. So if you are seeing yourself as somebody that is supposed to be declining health wise because you're at that age demographic, you're going to show up as a lesser version of yourself. And yeah, it's going to trickle over into attraction from your wife. It's going to have an impact eventually how you show up in business. Maybe you've been able to kind of still succeed despite it, but once energy dips, once drive, once motivation, like there's going to be a carryover effect. So I love that we're bringing in the identity component. I had a conversation this morning inside of our community about what I think are the three core drivers of success in any area of your life: identity or belief being one, right? You have to believe that you can accomplish something. You have to believe that you can get in the best shape of your life for to beyond. You have to believe for us that you can walk in freedom from pornography, even if you've struggled for 20, 30, 40 years. Following the belief, you got to begin to develop the character traits, right? So you have to begin to live out as the man that's doing that thing. So if you've wrestled with your health for a long time, you haven't prioritized these things, you develop certain traits of somebody that doesn't prioritize this. A over 40 alpha strong guy, a guy that is operating second half strong, is going to have different traits, how he shows up characteristically every single day. And then thirdly, you're going to need to build some skill sets. Build some skill sets in the gym, build some skill sets around how you track and manage your food. What would you say, Funk, are the core character traits of a man that is going to become second half strong?
Yeah, I just want to back up for 1 second because I'm talking about this through my experience because I actually have 39 experience I didn't know I had low T, but all of those things that I talked about, no energy, I had that at 39. And I was, at 39 years old, I'm a former professional athlete, so I've played sports at the highest level. I represented my country. Then when I retired throughout my 30s, I worked on a 9 to 5, right? So at a corporate job and did very well there, very very well. I just took the same focus I had as an athlete and put it into my corporate world, but. And then YouTube started to happen in 2007. So I started posting YouTube videos. But if you looked at those YouTube videos, I was 200. I'm usually 185 pounds. I was 215 pounds. I was puffy, I was a big puffy muscle, I guess, I had a belly because I was going out and partying. But I always wore a basketball shirt, basketball shirt. So in the videos, I look big, I look swole, but deep down inside, I wasn't. I was struggling. I was struggling with the way I didn't even look at myself in the mirror at all. And so for about a year, I was doing that. And then I had a girlfriend who I thought I was going to marry. She was amazing. But I did start to feel things were different. I wasn't able to build muscle like I used to. My nutrition was all over the place. And then I went home one day and literally, just like in the movies, that girl who I thought I was going to marry that I lived with, she left me. She literally said, I'm gone. We're not having sex. We haven't had sex in like 7 months and I'm out. And so she left me because we weren't having sex because I didn't realize that my libido had completely gone. So now I'm masking my manhood, right? Now I'm like, oh, okay. So let me go to strip joints and all of these different places after hours. Let me, go to the debauchery because that's my manhood, right? That's who I am as a man. That's my girlfriend just left me because we weren't having sex. So let me go to the extreme and go to all of these things, all these places. And so that didn't last long. That actually led to addiction. And then again, I'm getting injured. I'm trying all of these different diets. I'm going on doing cardio for an hour, and then my training buddy says to me, "Hey, does it suck that you're like the hardest working guy in this gym and you still look the exact same?" Right? And that day was like, because I got really defensive there. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Well, you're in here all the time and you're doing all this stuff and you still look the same." I'm like, geez. So I got home, I took off my shirt, and that's when like it hit me for the first time. Like I was so out of shape. And so when I went to see my doctor that year, that the year end in January, we took some blood, went back, and he said, "Oh, your testosterone levels are 189 nanograms per deciliter. Like they're like your grandfather." And at that point, I didn't know really what testosterone. I knew what testosterone was, but I didn't know the relationship that it had to all of my body and the physical and the health benefits that it gives me. And so he explained everything to me, and that all made sense. It's like, no wonder I can't build myself. No wonder I had no libido. No wonder I'm freaking fat. No wonder I have all of these things happening along with the lifestyle. But, and so when I learned that, that's when I made that change. I made the change to naturally increase my testosterone. And that change happened over 6 months. And I doubled my testosterone in 6 months, changed the workouts, nutrition, everything I did, went into recovery. And so that was a lifestyle change. And I got to the best shape of my life. And not only that, I fought at 41 years old in Thailand, Muay Thai, professional Muay Thai fight in Thailand. Like that's when I got married. That's when I built my businesses. So my 40s, when I was in the best shape of my life, even in better shape when I was a professional athlete, were the best years of my life. 100%. Like all of the things that happened, right? And so that coupled into my 50s, and now I got to change it a little bit again, but I'm talking through experience. I'm not just talking because you know what I mean? And then I'm seeing it with all of the guys in my program as well. So I just wanted to just say that because sometimes people just think I've always looked like this, but believe me, I've not always looked like this. But then you talked about character traits.
Appreciate that. It adds some context and some depth to the conversation that we're having here. Is, hey, here's a guy that's walked this out. It wasn't the journey for me. I started getting peak shape at 25 years old. I wrestled later on in my life. Business took over. I went through some dark periods later in my 30s, but there was a strong foundation kind of built through my 20s and early 30s. And I wouldn't say I'm in the best shape of my life now. That definitely was back then. I'm still, I would say, peak for somebody of my age, but I'm glad that we added the context for you that this is something that you've had to figure out at this stage of your life. It's like, here's the actual context and depth of like, hey, I'm not just speaking from a textbook here. I'm speaking from, I had to apply this and learn it on my own.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And the characteristic traits, that I see in these guys is they just show up more, right? When they start to, and the belief, like, man, it's incredible. I just finished a 90-day challenge, and the guys who finished the challenge, like, unbelievable. Like, I was blown away. Like, when most guys come into my program, like they're not looking for the six pack abs. They're just looking for, I just want to lose this weight. Cause I deal with the 99% of other men out there who's just a regular guy. I just want to, I've got pre-diabetes. I've got cholesterol issues. I need to build muscle. I need to get back into working out, and I need to be healthy. I just want to lose this belly. They're not even thinking about six pack abs. That comes after like 3 months in the program when they start to see the abs. And then 6 months, it's like, oh, I want those abs. Oh, after this, you can see the transformation, but the transformation really happens with the way they show up for themselves and the way they show up for their family and the way they show up at work and the way they show up for others, right? Because now they put themselves in a very uncomfortable position. They've had to do things that they've never done before, or they haven't had to do consistently, right? Nutrition, the workouts are easy. They're follow along. That's the easiest part of the whole thing is the workouts, because I provide follow along. They just have to click play and pick up dumbbells, and I'm going to be there with them. But it's the recovery piece. It's the mobility that they don't do. It's all of those little aspects to stay consistent, focusing on sleep. Those are things that they start to do consistently, not perfect. It's progression. But while they're doing that, they're seeing the results, and now people around them are seeing the results, feeling the results, and now they're starting to show up more because they have more confidence, right, for in themselves and in the people around them who they lead. So the biggest characteristic I think is just the confidence in showing up for the people around them, right? Provide, protect, procreate. To feel like they can do it now.
Yeah, yeah. You shared your story, and it sounds like for you and for these guys, getting that testosterone up to a healthy marker is going to be the core focus in the beginning. Like you said, testosterone numbers are lower, the lowest they've ever been in history for young men and also men of this age and demographic. A guy's going to hear this. He's going to maybe be prompted to go out, get a blood test. He's going to get back. Maybe he's not 189, but he's below a healthy range. He's in the 2, 3, even 400s. Ideally, want to be 8, 900 plus. I would say probably is going to be a healthy number. Workouts easy, simple, fall on. There's great stuff out there from a nutritional perspective and approach. What does a guy need to look at adding into his diet to optimize testosterone, and what foods should he stay away from and avoid?
Okay, so the key here is a balanced plate meal, right? So we have to eat. Testosterone is just the KPI. Okay, it's just a key performance indicator. It's a number, 600 nanogram. It's something to strive for. But the nutrition is going to help with muscle. The nutrition is going to help with your metabolism. So as I'm talking through what the nutrition is, it'll make sense. It'll also help with testosterone. So nutrition for sure. So it's 3 meals a day, a balanced plate meal. So every single meal should have a source of protein. Why? Because protein's the building blocks of our muscles, our bones, metabolic process through the body. And most men don't know this. And most men don't know protein. What is protein? So, like things like fish and beef and eggs and chicken and fish. So a source of protein. Protein is incredibly important because our body doesn't make it. We need to get it from an outside source, and it's going to help us with building muscle and our metabolic process in the body. So source of protein. Number 2 is a healthy fat. Why healthy fat has cholesterol? Now cholesterol is the precursor to testosterone production. So testosterone production starts in the hypothalamus, goes to the gonadotropin, GnRH, releases goes to the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland releases luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, goes down to the Leydig cells in your testes, right? So the luteinizing hormone goes to Leydig cells, knocks on the door, and if there's cholesterol inside your testes, the Leydig cells, then testosterone production happens, and this happens at during deep sleep. So I'm going to tie all of this in, but it's important to know that it starts up here, right in the brain, and this process happens, but there needs to be cholesterol. If there's no cholesterol, then there's no testosterone production. So our body makes a bit of cholesterol, but you want to, again, you're talking about testosterone levels, 600, 800, what have you. We need that testosterone production to happen. So we need a source of healthy fats, avocado, grass-fed butter, olive oil. It's not a long list, but it's a list that you still need to have a source on your plate. The third thing you need to have is complex carbs. 2 types of carbs: simple carbs, complex carbs. Complex carbs are going to be sweet potato, rice, basmati rice, wild rice, any of that stuff. You're gonna have steel cut oats. Again, not a massive list. It's not a big list. It's a smaller list because the other side is simple carbs like pastas and processed foods and all the other crap that's out there, sweets and all of that other stuff that we got to get rid of, right? So you're going to have a source of complex carbs on that plate, and then finally, depending on the meal, you're going to have vegetables or fruits depending on the meal. Usually you have fruits in the morning because you may have your steel cut oats with a scoop of protein powder. You may put some berries in there and then have almond butter, right, as your fat. And that's your bowl every morning, right? Steel cut oats, and you get your protein, so you get everything in there. So that's a balanced plate or balanced bowl. You have 3 of those, no snacking, because when you snack in between, you're just putting more and more stress on your body. You're putting more and more stress on the insulin, and you're putting more and more stress on your cortisol levels, because now your body has to keep working. Your body doesn't need to work that hard, right? Just give it the food. Digestion takes a long time. So 3 meals a day. That's it. You choose from a list of go-to foods, and you stay away from sugars, processed foods, frozen foods, alcohol, uh, uh, you know, candy, junk food, anything you get from a fast food store, anything you get in a package, you stay away from that stuff. You want real whole foods. You want to keep things very, very simple. Eat the same things over and over again. I eat the same things over and over again, like ground beef, steak, like still my rice. Like it's the same thing. Like keep it simple, and we are like that. Most men, we have our go-to shirts, we have our go-to, watch. Women, my wife, she's got tons of shoes, tons of, clothes. On the flip side, most men just have their go-tos, right? So you have your go-to meals. You choose those go-to meals, your go-to foods every week. Hey, this week I'm going to have grass-fed butter. I mean, grass-fed butter. I'm going to have grass-fed beef. I'm going to have eggs, and that's going to be my protein. And pork. That's going to be my protein. My carbs are going to be rice and steel cutouts. That's what I'm eating this week, right? So it's easy for you to go shopping. It's easier for you to meal prep, and it's easy for you to stay on track with nutrition. So that's easy to follow. We don't count calories, like none of that stuff. We don't need to do that. You just need to see protein, carbs, healthy fats, and vegetables or fruits. And then later on, when you get used to this type of new eating lifestyle, because this is sustainable, right? When you don't have to count calories, when you're not, going on these extreme diets where you're leaving out one food group or another, then this is sustainable because you can also eat this way anywhere you go in the world. I travel all the time, and there's no restaurant I can't go to that I can get the protein, carbs, healthy fats, and vegetables and fruits. It's always there.
I love that, man. And I love how simple you've made it to be, right? Guys will understand that when it comes to business. You got a core 5 set of KPIs, daily, weekly, monthly, that you need to hit. That's what's going to scale. You talked about having a particular watch or a black shirt. That's kind of my go-to look. You got your pair of shoes. It's like simplify things when it comes to nutrition. And I also love that guys can attain this and achieve this success in their physique without having to track and pay so close attention to calories and macros, because that can be daunting for many people. And you can just eat this way: protein, carb, healthy fats, and just manage it. Cut out snacking, cut out the junk food, 3 small meals, medium size per day. You said early on that this demographic, 40, 50, 60 and beyond, is the most underserved demographic in the world. You have made it your mission over the last decade plus to serve these guys with your over 40 Alpha Brotherhood. And you've taken this next step now with creating this philosophy of what being second half strong means. Talk to us about the philosophy and meaning behind second half strong, and then how you've taken this and you're building an incredible summit for a week long coming up in June that's going to serve this audience.
Yeah. So second half strong is just that, knowing that you can be, stronger, better, in the second half part of your life. One of the things that we go through in life, we've got different stages in life, right? Our very first stage when we're kids, we're just learning, right? So we're learning how to talk, walk, we're going to school, we're figuring things out. That's our learning stage. Everything's new to us, right? We don't have a lot of life skills. We don't have a lot of life, things that we've done in our life experience. So that's the learning stage. And then we get to the stage where we're building, right? So in our maybe mid 20s to 30s, to late 30s, we're building our careers, we're building, relationships, we're building a family, we're getting married, we're kind of figuring out, we're taking all the things that we've learned, when we were younger and maybe in university or what have you. And then now you're building, right? So now we have tons of life skills now, like, from when we were younger to now when we're in the building stage, right? Because we're building in so many different facets of our lives. When we reach 40, we have a lot of experience. We have a lot of skills that we've built, 40s, 50s, 60s. You're still maybe even building it a little bit more in your 40s. But when you're in your mid 40s to 50s to 60s, this is like the pinnacle of your life, because now this is where you can take all of those experiences, all the things that you built, all of the things that you may not have done or want to do. And now you can explode your life. Like you can take it to another level, whether it's continuing to build businesses, whether it's into retirement, whatever that is. You have so much wisdom. You're a little bit more relaxed. You're a little bit more focused because you made mistakes and you know how to navigate those mistakes. But guess what? When you're not healthy, you can't do any of that stuff. right? That you have none of that stuff in your in inside of you because you're dealing with stress. You're out of you're dealing with health issues. You're dealing with just being out of shape and maybe not putting enough self-love. You're finding it hard to look, this world is very negative. It's extremely negative. So the world wants to keep us negative. And so you find it very hard to find the positive things that you've done in your life. And so that's where second half strong comes in. That's where the belief that yes, I can now take all of the experiences that I have. I can now get into the best shape of my life and do that in the second half of my life. So I can build a better life. I can build a legacy for everybody around me.
Funk, you had mentioned previously that the over 40 demographic was the most underutilized or underserved demographic when it comes to health and fitness. And I'm sure this is the big reason as to why you've built this movement called Second Half Strong. Tell us a little bit about the idea, philosophy of where Second Half Strong came from and how this led you into really putting together what is going to be one of the most epic summits this coming summer.
Yeah, no, you hit the nail right on the head when you talked about the most underserved. We definitely are the most underserved, meaning our demographic 40s, 50s, 60s, we don't get the health information that we need to get in order for us to, based on the physiological changes that happen to us. And so for me, second half strong is an identity, right? It's an identity that I want every man in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond to know that you can be strong the second half of your life, not just I can exist. Like you can be in better shape than you were in your 20s, 30s, in your 20s and 30s than you are when you're in your 40s, 50s. I see it all the time. Every single day in my program, there's somebody who posts a picture and telling us that they're in better shape. They're running faster. They feel better than they did when they're in their 20s or 30s. Their testosterone levels make them feel like when they're better than they were in their 20s and 30s. And so that's just that mindset that you get like, okay, I can be better and I can be stronger. So second half strong is that identity piece. We want everyone to know that you can be second half strong, but we got to put in the work, right? That doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. And it also means that our margin for error has to be a little bit smaller. Like we can't eat the same foods that we used to. We can't train the same way. And we also have to put in a bunch of other, pillars or other things in our life that we probably didn't have when we were younger to help keep our longevity, right? To help that longevity. The word longevity is a buzzword right now, and it's an important word because here's the thing: whenever people talk about like how old do you want to live till, how long do you want to live? For me, I want to live until I'm 120, and I don't mean I want to exist until I'm 120. I want to be doing burpees at 120. Like I want to be able to, because we do have the technology and the science and all of these great things that are coming out now that are helping us with our longevity. We have to lean into those and utilize them so that we can be like my grandmother was 99 when she passed away, but she was in a wheelchair, right? And yes, that's great. My grandmother lived till she was 99, but man, she was existing. I don't want to be that. I want to see my great grandchildren walk down the aisle. I want to be part of the legacy of my family line. And just, like I want to be part of that. I want to be there for my kids, my grandkids, and my great grandkids if possible. But that all starts with a different mindset, because when you do have a mindset of second half strong, and I want to be there and I want to be strong and I want to be able, and it's not even just great grandchildren. I'm 57. Maybe at 67 or 70, I want to be hiking and traveling with my wife, right? I want to take my grandkids to the zoo. I don't want to be the grandfather who's sitting at the front of the zoo and has to sit there while the kids go and play and I can't maneuver with them. I can't run with them. Or I don't want to be that person who, wife wants to climb Machu Picchu and I can't because, I'm unable to, I'm unfit. I want to be able to do those things along with all the other things I talked about. So that's the mindset you have to take now, right? That means you have to dip into all of the different pillars that we can talk about that will allow us to live as long as we can. And that's really what second half.
Yeah, I love that, man. And I love how clear you are on the things that you want to be doing in the future. Like, the vividness at which you're able to paint these pictures of future Vunk living out with his grandchildren and doing burpees at 120, that has created this identity that you exist and operate in today. And, as you know, I'm a big advocate of identity transformation. It's a core theme of this podcast, but also the work that we do with the Rebuild Man. And I think for me, it's been a pivotal understanding, knowing that our identity shapes how we show up, right? It is our identity. The lens at which we see ourselves dictates how we show up in every single situation. So having an identity of somebody that is second half strong puts you in a position where you can make healthier choices when it comes to the pillars that we're going to unpack. I'm curious for you, knowing that you have this goal to live to 120, what things are you doing now to live that out, to ensure that it does happen?
It's funny you just said that because yesterday was Monday, so Sunday was my birthday, and Sunday we had gone. We thank you. We worked out. That was what did you do on your birthday? I worked out with my wife. We shot a work.
What else would funk do, right?
That's what I love to do, right? The fact that I get to train with Angela is amazing, and shooting a video, like a workout video too, is perfect with her. So that's all I wanted, right? So we did that, and then on the way home, we stopped off. There was a little shop there, and okay, she was getting some cookies and some things, and then I was thinking, man, when you have that identity, you always think of the future. You always play the tape forward. That's what happens for me. I always play the tape forward, which means if I have that piece of cake tomorrow, my knees are gonna hurt. I'm gonna be bloated when I wake up in the morning. I'm gonna do I want to feel that way? Right. And I have that vivid, picture in my mind. I don't want to feel that way. So let me pass on that. Or let me get something that's gluten free. Or you know what I mean? So it starts with every single decision that I make when it comes to so my morning routine, which includes gratitude journal, meditation, I read my Bible, breath work. I do that because I'm an entrepreneur. It is extremely stressful. I'm working on this huge summit. So that stress level can stay chronic. And if I don't take care of that through gratitude journal and all of those things to keep my stress levels down, and also just to have a more calm and fulfilled life and enable me to tackle anything that happens, that's part of my daily routine. So that's a routine that I put in now that helps set me up for later. My nutrition is 100% on point. Like it's 3 meals a day. Now I've switched back to 3 meals a day, carbs, proteins, healthy fats, vegetables or fruits on each one of those plates. I only eat 2 to 3 times a day, and that's it. But that's key, right? And not having any food that's processed, any food that's going to cause inflammation or sabotage my health, because I need to make sure that I'm eating the foods that are going to help fuel my body. My workouts are non-negotiable, 3 to 4 workouts a week. Whether yesterday I did a workout right here, Sunday I did my workout with my wife. Today is mobility day. So my workouts are non-negotiable, whether I do them here, whether I do them at the gym if I'm shooting, whether I do them outside if I'm shooting. Like there's not even a question. Now, do I feel like doing workouts every day? No, absolutely not. The one that I was excited about was the one on my birthday because my wife's there, and I can, if I'm shooting a workout video and I'm dying, I can always go, just watch Angela, guys, watch Angela, right? That's always my go-to. Watch Angela, watch Angela. But I don't generally feel like working out because I know my workouts they're hard, right? They're metabolic, they're 24 minutes. I know they're going to be challenging, but I do it because it's a non-negotiable. Like there is no question about that. And then my mobility is huge. That's the biggest one for me now because I was never a big mobility, yoga, stretching guy, but that is huge. That's mobility in the mornings, mobility throughout the day. And today is going to be a longer mobility day where I really focus on a longer routine. But that is a non-negotiable because I do have back issues. I do have bad shoulders from fighting and playing beach volleyball and indoor volleyball. So, all of those things have to take care of. Sleep, that is massive. Like if there's one thing that I changed that has made the biggest difference in my entire health, it's my sleep, right? Ensuring that I'm getting 3 to 4 hours of restorative sleep, deep sleep, right? And three is where I'm still only getting like two now. I keep looking here because I have a Whoop strap. So wearables are super important for me because I need data, right? A lot of guys will shoo it away. Oh, I can't do that because then I'll get too addicted. Like right away, you're giving excuses. Like right there, that's that excuse. That's like, oh no, I can't do that. I'll get too addicted to it. Oh, I don't understand that. And all you're really doing is you're again tapping out, right? You're putting barriers. Like, no, this is you need that data in order to make the right decisions. So you have to change your mindset around that and learn how to use the data in the way that serves you. If you think you're going to get addicted to the data, I'd rather you be addicted to the data than addicted to your phone, to porn, to drugs, to or end up in the hospital with heart disease, cancer, strokes, diabetes, just because you wouldn't focus on a very important aspect, which is tracking, but also your sleep, right? So luckily, I partner with Nick Lamb for the summit that we're doing, and he's the online sleep recovery expert. And we did a sleep challenge together. We created a sleep challenge together, and in that sleep challenge, I learned more about how to curate a better sleep environment and kind of like that routine. So for me, that has made the biggest difference. The 2 to 3 to 4 hour of restorative sleep, not even the regular 7 to 9 hours that I used to preach. I used to be get 7 to 9 hours, get 7 to 9 hours until I understood actually it's the deep restorative sleep where testosterone, muscle, all of those things. So that's a now, is it perfect? No, it's not always perfect, but I those are the things that I'm implementing to allow me to live till I'm 120. And then what are some of these other things that are coming out? Right? I'm a fitness guy, so I'm gonna and I run a membership, so when it comes to like new things like peptides and all these other things, I'm going to put my hand up first and try them. That's just the way I am, right? I'm just like, let me see what peptides are working, what doesn't work. Let's see or if that's where I want to go. I'll be that guinea pig for a lot of my guys. My wife does not like that I'm the guinea pig because she wants me to live till I'm 120 as well, right? And, when there's not a lot of research behind things, but I do know that it's just having that lifestyle. This is a lifestyle for me. It is not a difficult lifestyle. Like I travel quite a bit. So when I travel, like this week, I've got UFC in Winnipeg. So I know that okay, if I'm gonna work out, it's gonna be at the hotel gym or it's gonna be in my room. Nutrition is very easy when you're at a hotel. You can build a plate very easily, especially at hotels. They can just, hey, can you put an avocado? Sure, I'll get an avocado. Very easy, right? My mobility, all of those things are going to be easy. The sleep may be a little bit off because I am actually working. But the point is, travel doesn't matter where I go. I can still focus when I have those behaviors and habits in my life.
Yeah, I don't think people understand how simple it is to eat healthy on the go or in restaurants. Any restaurant, you can order a chicken breast served without the oil, without the butter. Order if you prefer to go the red meat, you order a hamburger without the bun, right? You get some lettuce on the side, you order a potato, rice, and there you go. Add the fat if you need it. They'll throw an avocado on there. Usually, if they create some type of salad, they'll have those in the backdoor kitchen. Yeah, you may have to curate that. It may cost a little bit more than what the average menu item is, but if you commit to this, if this is your lifestyle, also the piece on the data driving decisions, right? What gets measured gets managed, right? We understand that when it comes to business. A lot of guys will measure every single metric, every KPI in their business. Then when it comes to health markers, they won't prioritize or focus in on the 3, 4 core metrics. I monitor a daily weight. I weigh every single morning. It's a part of my morning routine. I track it in a spreadsheet. I track calories, macros, carbs, proteins, and fats. I track steps. It's a metric that allows me to know that I'm moving enough throughout the day. And then, like you said, I'm a big advocate of sleep tracking there as well. I don't do a whole lot of tracking in the gym unless I'm specifically building something. I'm trying to progress in a specific lift. Then I will, but I'm at the point where I kind of train just kind of intuitively when it comes to the weights, and I kind of know where my numbers are. But it's 4 or 5 key metrics that kind of drive, and that enables me to make decisions throughout the day. Hey, if I didn't get the sleep that I needed at night, boom, how can I carve out a window in the middle of the day to maybe prioritize getting some restorative sleep with a nap or something just kind of restful there? Do I need to shut it down? Do I need to scale back the training a little bit? So important to have the data to drive your decisions. One thing you've talked a lot about is your relationship with your wife, Angela. I know you guys are an incredible power couple. You can hear it, you can see it, the two of you when you're on camera together, the real love and connection that is in there. what role do you think having that partner in your life that is on board, living the same lifestyle and identity, and what can a guy do if he's now beginning to make this change in his life, become second half strong? Maybe him and his wife weren't prioritizing these things. Are there any tips to a guy out there to get his women on board? So first, the importance of it, and then how does a guy get his woman on board when they really haven't maybe been living that lifestyle for a long time?
It is so important to get your spouse or girlfriend or whomever it is to understand your lifestyle, because here's the thing, not it's not everyone's number one value, right? But but for me, I was lucky because in our vows, that's our our number one value is health and fitness and keeping each other as healthy as possible. That was from day one. It was even in our vows, like if any of us we're reading, if any of us get out of shape, we can call each other fat. Like that was part of the vows that we talked about. And it was just like but that's how important it is. So that trumps anything. That's been kind of our whole life. When Angela was training Muay Thai still at a high level, she would come home from work and then she'd be gone right away for 2 hours, right? And instead of me going, oh man, my wife's never around, it's like, okay, what can I do in order to make sure that she wins when she comes home, her stuff's packed, ready to go, she's gone, because I know how important that is to her and I know how important that is to us. But if you're in a relationship where that was not your priority, you need to have the conversation. And that conversation generally is, listen, no matter what we do, we want to be there for each other in the long run. So we have to start focusing on our health together in order for us, or at least prioritizing our health and everything that we do so we can be and live together for the next 20, 30, 40 years, right? Healthy. So you guys are healthy for yourselves and for your relationship and also for your kids. But it's that conversation. A lot of guys don't want to have that conversation with their wives because that means that they're exposed too. That means that's commitment, right? Sometimes your wife may not be a part of it, but a lot of times when you explain it in the way that, hey, I want to be with you for the rest of my life, I want both of us to be as healthy as we can. She's probably going through menopause right now. You're going through a whole bunch of other things right now. So doing it together and being supportive of each other through all of these different things is going to be super important. And it's a conversation. But yes, that conversation means you have to commit, right? And you have to commit to each other.
Yeah. And she may not be on board. She may not be Angela, and wants to go to the gym and crush a 24-minute burpee, fold workout with you. But there's other ways to exercise together, right? Go on walks, go on long hikes together, ride your bike, play pickleball. Now you're sharing this lifestyle together, but you're also creating deeper connection and intimacy from a recreational level, right? I have a great friend, Tony DiLorenza, wrote the book called Six Pillars of Intimacy. And one of the core pillars of intimacy in their framework is recreational intimacy, having play time where you are enjoying um, competition with each other or just enjoying the recreational play of life. And for some people that comes in the gym. I can tell you some of the best workouts I had. Jess and I, we have Saturday, they're turf style workouts. We're at the local big commercial gym here. There's a big turf. We push the prowler, we pull the sled, we do burpees, lunges, all this amazing stuff together. And it's like, it's a moment where we get to share something that we both enjoy and love doing, because she's just like Angela, loves training, kicks ass in the gym. But we also get to do it together. And it's like the bond that is developed in doing hard things together is unlike any other bond.
I'll add one thing. We hike all the time together. That is the biggest thing, because for her, because for the job that she does, she definitely needs time, right? To dis. So hiking is massive for her. She hikes twice a week, and I get on those hikes with her as well. And that's that recreation time you're talking about. Because when we're on the hikes, I'm a little kid again. Like I'm literally like a little kid again. I love being out there, and I start fooling around like a little kid, and we're hiking and. Sometimes they're tough. Sometimes they're grueling. Sometimes some grueling hikes. We're like, man, that was tough, right? And so you share that, and sometimes they're fun. And yeah, that is another core piece. I'm glad you brought that up, because that is another very very core piece of our relationship, because that's something that she loves so much. I can. I'm neither here nor there until I get there, and I'm like, man, I should do this more. But for her, it is like a staple. It's a non-negotiable for her, actually. And so me being part of that as well just adds to like, okay, this is part of something that she loves to do. So let me make sure that I'm there and let me have fun while I'm doing it as well.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Funk, walk us through. the online summit. Guys, we're going to have a link for you guys to register at the summit at the end of today's episode. It's completely free, 7 days long, but walk us through the 7 day summit. And if you can, unpack a little bit of the 7 pillars that we're going to be walking through.
Yeah, so this is the Men Over 40 Summit, the very first time something's ever been put on. It's a global virtual summit. So you can sit at home, watch the summit, or watch all the talks. And like I mentioned before, it's the first of its kind. There's never been anything for us guys, right? There's tons of summits out there actually, lots of online summits, conferences that go on, but nothing specifically to men's health. Nothing specific to as big as this is going to be. And what we've done here between June 8th and the 14th, that's the live summit, and which is Men's Health Month. So that's another key time of the year. And it's broken up into 7 different days and 7 different pillars. And the reason why we want to do that is because we really want to keep everything really focused, because there are over 100 speakers. So there's a lot of speakers. There's a lot of great information, but we really want to curate it so that you can focus on one specific thing each day, right? And so the first day is going to talk, we break it into mindset, manhood, and mental strength, right? Nothing really starts unless you got that mind right. You're making the decision, the identities. We want to talk about mental health, because that is one of the things that we lead again in, right? Suicides, depression, mental health, specifically at our age in our 40s, 50s, and 60s. So all of the talks are going to be geared towards mental strength, manhood, mental health, discipline, self-respect, resilience, all of those things that, we kind of lose as we are. I mean, we lose touch with. We don't actually lose it. We just lose touch with it until we, and sometimes it takes someone who has that expertise to reignite it in our bodies and in our minds, and allow us to reclaim it. So that's day number 1. Day number 2 is testosterone health, hormone, and longevity. So that day is based on overall health. So a lot of doctors, a lot of specialists, of course, how we can naturally increase testosterone, because testosterone levels are the lowest they've ever been in modern day history on all levels, whether we're older than 40 or younger. It's unbelievable. And then hormones in general, right? That's really the key there. So a very good day, because again, it's all about overall health, not just about, testosterone or hormones, but overall health. Day 3, we jump into training, fitness, mobility, and pain-free training. So everyone on this day is going to be showing you best workouts, how to mobility, stability, training, kettlebell training, different styles of training. And this day is really cool too, because there's going to be some workshops. So you can literally follow along and learn how to do kettlebell swings, for instance. I know Forrest Vent's doing kettlebell swings. So we wanted to make it as practical as possible. Here's the other thing, just to touch on. Every single talk, it's not just info. It's there's going to be implementation plans for each one. And this is practical stuff that you can literally use right after you listen or watch, so that you're not just, I just got overloaded with information, because there's going to be a lot of information, 100%. But the ones that you listen to, you'll be able to implement. So anyways, that's day 3. That's training, fitness, mobility, and how to stay pain-free, or how to get back to being pain-free. Day 4 is nutrition and supplementation, right? You cannot train a bad diet, but there's going to be different people there talking about different diets. I have my own nutrition plan and nutrition lifestyle, but there's other people who will advocate for different types of nutrition and diets for men over 40 that may fit your specific lifestyle. So having all of these experts there, plus supplementation to that's a big, pillar. A lot of information on what supplements, what are the best ones, what should we not be using. So having some of these experts here talk about specific supplements, or giving us more clarity on supplements, are going to really set us up to ensure that we're getting the right supplements for us and not wasting our money. Day 5, this is a big one: sleep, recovery, biohacking. So I like this one because, again, sleep is huge, man. And so we get that near the end of the week, so that by the end of the week and Friday, which would be like a Friday or Thursday, your sleep's going to get better by the end of the week, right? So sleep, recovery. So I mentioned breath work and meditation and those types of things that are a little bit woo-woo for most guys, but we have to lean into it, and understanding how those things happen is going to be great. And then, of course, biohacking, right? We got Ben Greenfield and some of the biohacking kings to help us talk about, what we're gonna how we're gonna live till we're 120 years old as well. So that'll be great. Day 6 is a little bit different. It's lifestyle, identity, and legacy. And I really like this day because it sits outside the scope of health. It's more about, our men's, like when you lose weight, you gotta style a little bit different, right? So it's men's dress, it's personal growth, it's entrepreneurship, it's life after retirement, it's marriage, it's relationships, it's just balancing how to balance life, right? Health, fatherhood, business, and building a legacy that's more than just your health and fitness, but how do I build a legacy? So that's a great day. And then day number 7 is more of a pro day. So if you have anybody who wants to be a trainer or is a trainer or a coach or wellness, how to train men over 40. Because again, we are not just like any other demographic. We have physiological things that happen to us, like testosterone and sarcopenia, and our metabolism slows down, and all of these things that happen to us that we need specific. We need special. We need specialization, really and truly. That we're not getting, and this is going to give us that specialization. So throughout all 7 days, you're going to have access. Well, day 1 you'll have access. Day 1, day 2 you'll have access to day 1 and day 2. And then after 7 days, it is going to be over. So I would advise you guys to get lifetime access, just because this is going to be your resource for the rest of your life, right? Like you're going to be like, oh, I remember Frank talked about this, and you'll be able to go to Frank and you'll be able to listen to, or because you'll be able to download everything, and you'll be, so for me, I'm thinking, man, we're literally giving people like a year's worth of podcast episodes, right? Like you could download each one of these, and every day you're driving to work or you're at work, literally listen to it like it's a podcast, and just overload yourself with great information. And remember, there's always a takeaway. There's always an implementation plan, and there's always a takeaway. So this is something that you don't want to miss. If you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond, you do not want to miss this. You want to be part of this. It's absolutely free to join. I'm going to give you some free gifts as well, but I mean, this is something that you want to be part of and have access to, probably for the next few years anyway.
I would say at a minimum, this is an associate's, if not a bachelor's level education in men's over 40 health, nutrition, training, lifestyle. We talked relationship. I think I'm part of day 6. So we're talking freedom and recovery and the importance of identity over there. And like I said, guys, the summit, if you want just access during the 7 days, is 100% free. Visit menover40.thesuperhumanlifepodcast.com and you can register for free. And there's the option to upgrade and get lifetime access. I think it's $100 or less than that to get lifetime access with additional bonuses to have this information forever. So you can save these workouts. You can follow along. You can go back because it may be difficult during the course of 7 days to consume all of it. You can save your favorite ones and you continue to learn and grow. So menover40.thesuperhumanlifepodcast.com to register for free or upgrade to that lifetime access and get all 7 days recording saved plus additional bonuses, support. And like you said, man, like you got some of the best, man. You have some of the world's leading experts in all these areas. Talk to us how you were able to, put this together, if you can, for a minute.
Sure. Yeah, so this is something I've wanted to do for years. Like 4 years ago, I wanted to do this, and I wanted to do it live. And then I'm like, okay, no. Then I wanted to do it with another person, and then they were like, no, it's too much. And so this January comes again. I'm like, I think this is the year. But I went to Nick Lamb. Nick Lamb is the online sleep recovery coach, but he also does sleep and recovery summits and the other summits that I've been a part of. And I said, Nick, I think I want to do a small mini summit. I said, just a small one. And he's like, dude, you don't do anything small. What are you talking about? And so I'm like, well, I'm just a little bit, it's scary, right? This is a scary thing. Now, I've done something in the past that was called the Combat Bundle in the past, which is a little bit different. But this one, I don't not, a lot of people don't know who I am. So, you have to get back into that recruiting and like, hey, my name is Funk Roberts. I'm having a Men Over 40 summit, like literally, right? This isn't like, oh, everyone knows Funk. This is actually the opposite, what I'm learning, right? Which is fine. But, yeah, so it's just thinking about, okay, what is the goal, right? That was my number one thing, is what is the goal? And I've always had this vision of every day is a different pillar and getting speakers for those pillars. But I didn't just want this to be like a regular summit where It was just information, right? Because I've gone to these conferences, I've gone to summits before, and it's just like, okay, now what? Right? I got information, but now you can get that on podcasts, right? So you can get all that information on podcasts. So I wanted this to be more of no, no, no. I want you to be able to walk away with the next step. What is the very next step from every talk or every presentation or workshop that happens? Because once again, just getting overloaded with information is going to keep us where we're at. We need action behind that, right? And so when you find that right person who with the right message, who has that action, you're more likely going to be able to take it, right? And then it just starts to stack, right? You start stacking daily wins, stacking little wins. And so for me, it's just, trying to, my biggest hurdle right now is just connecting with people because but back in the day it was just email, right? But now some people are Instagram, some people are on, you got to get them through YouTube, through email, but then not everyone checks their Instagram and everyone checks their Facebook. So it's like, whereas before it was just one place. It was just email or phone call. Now it's like I got to find them. But yeah, it's been a lot of work trying to recruit, trying to connect. But once the good news for you guys listening is 99%, 95% of the people who I've spoke to are excited about this. And when someone's excited about being part of something, right? Because we're not paying anybody to do this, but when someone's excited about being part of something for you, man, you have to be like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Like this guy is going to be giving me information like for free. Like I don't have to pay this guy and he's going to give me information that literally, or woman that's going to actually allow me to make that next step. Like everyone is excited about this. Everyone's saying this should have happened years ago. Everyone's saying thank you for doing this. So yeah, man, like I mentioned before, it is a lot of work, and I've had to put all of my over 40 supplements and my membership to the side. Like I've had to like scrape and scramble because when you're not putting up any money or your time and effort into your regular business, it's still going, but this calls for much more focus. And so yeah, it's been challenging, but it's been great. This is again one of those things where you stay outside your comfort zone, right? I'm outside my comfort zone. This is not something that I generally do. I have to talk to people I don't generally talk to. I have to introduce myself. And so, it's uncomfortable. But again, now I'm working new skills or reworking skills that I took from years ago. I do want to leave with this if I can say, like, even though this is, we're in our 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, right? We've collected so many skills and so many things over the years. Like I used to be in call centers, I used to manage, I used to do all of these things way back in the day. And when I'm doing this now, I can call on those skills, right? We can always call on all of these skill sets that we've created and use them now in our 40s, 50s, 60s. We have so much wisdom right now that we're not using. We're not using it because we're just like, oh, it's over for me, blah, blah, blah. I'm in my career. It's all I got. But you don't remember, like, oh, yeah, but I used to do that. Oh, yeah, and I used to do that too. I used to do that well. So, yeah, maybe I can start my own business. Maybe I can retire and do something different. Maybe I can start focusing on my health because I used to be a college football player, or I used to be, a hockey player, or whatever it is, and I know how to do these things. So don't sell yourself short. You can do anything you want to do, man. In our 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. That listen, we have so much wisdom. The world is our oyster right now. We can do so much. We just have to lean into it and be okay with failing. Be okay with falling, but knowing that you can get up, learn fast, and get it done.
I love the message there, the optimism behind it, right? I think a lot of people reach that second half and for whatever reason, it's doom and gloom from this point on. It'll never be the best, but you spoke to it, man. You got decades of wisdom, skills, experience, knowledge now put forward with the right intention, with the right protocols, with the right methods. Man, I'm sure you see it time and time again, the transformation and how quickly guys can accelerate in their fitness, but how that spills over in every single area of our life. And that's what we see. A lot of guys will come into our world and they'll be in their 40s or 50s and struggling with addiction for decades. And they're like, am I too old? And I often tell these guys, no, you're actually further along the road than a guy that is just waking up in his 20s. You just haven't really put the pieces of the puzzle together properly. And that's what we help them do. So I was thrilled, man, when I saw the email and you invited me to be a part of this. Once I saw the speaker lineup, I was like, what an honor to be involved in around this caliber of individuals. Once again, guys, menover40.com menover40.thesuperhumanlifepodcast.com. You can register for free, upgrade, get lifetime access. And I can tell you, just our talk and the resources that we're giving in my segment is worth the lifetime access for all of you guys out there. So highly recommend everybody upgrading there. Men over40.thesuperhumanlifepodcast.com. Funk, appreciate you coming back on, dude. I appreciate you steering this ship, leading this movement for men over 40, 50, 60, and beyond. As we wrap it up with the theme of today's conversation, speaking to that guy that's living in his second life, what does it mean to you, and what should it mean to these guys to curate and live out a superhuman life?
It's everything. It's your legacy. You know, I say this: provide, protect, procreate. It's your um this is why you're put on this earth, man. It's why you're put on this earth right here. This is why you're put on this earth, to provide, protect, and be that man for your family, for yourself first, for your family, and for those around you in your community, right? You take that responsibility, and you know, be proud of that responsibility, lean into that responsibility. Um, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. You need to suffer. You need to learn how to suffer, and you need to lean into suffering. Suffering is a privilege. It's a privilege, man. Struggling is a privilege, because you come out. You always will come out better every single time. You will always come out better. Sometimes this much, sometimes this much. Right? Lean into the struggle. Lean into adversity. Lean into those, because that gives you the ability to try things and curate things and be okay with not being perfect. You're not weak. You're strong. You're second half strong. And that's what that means. And I can't wait to see you guys in that summit as well.
Love it. Guys, menover40.thesuperhumanlifepodcast.com. Register for free. We'll see you in June for 7 days, equipping you with all the tools to recreate your life, to become second half strong, and go on and leave your legacy here in the world. Guys, Funk, appreciate you, brother. I love you, man. Guys, register, link down there below. We'll see you guys in June.